now let me get back to my sermon for today. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate that. We've got a great group on for doing that. And so I'll tell you more about that picture in just a little bit. But I wanted to, we're going down memory lane today. And so we're going to go down memory way another way today. I wanted to say two things first. If you're interested in membership at Unity Center of Davis, or if you know somebody that is interested in membership that comes here that isn't here today, and we'll put an announcement in the e-news, have them contact me via email. Anybody is interested in membership, just send me an email. Thank you. And there's a place to click on that in the e-news. It'll say, it'll bring up to send an email directly to me. And then I wanted to talk just a little bit about Eric Butterworth as we take this walk down memory lane. And I wanted to talk about one of my favorite lessons from the Spiritual Economics book, because I think it's important when we're talking about our plan going forward, when we're talking about our vision for this virtual ministry, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is that we know going into it that one of the most beautiful things about our ministry here at Unity Center of Davis, is the fact that we're a ministry of givers. We're a ministry of givers. And in Eric Butterworth's book, Spiritual Economics, it is so important to be a giver and not a taker. And we've proven over and over again in the short time that I've been here, and even in the history of this ministry, to be a giving ministry. We've tithed to nonprofit entities in Davis, in Yolo County for years. We vetted them. We have a wonderful tithing team that designates tithes every month. We've participated in the stake Christmas program. We donated canned goods at Thanksgiving time. We're giving. Our chaplains are so giving in this ministry. Our chaplains make wellness calls. Our chaplains have started doing home and hospital and skilled nursing facility visits, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. And Julie Curry's going to stick around today right after the service and be available to come to you in a private prayer room. If you'd like to stay in the main room after service and have prayer with Julie, who's the chaplain today, we're going to do that today. Your Zoom operator, Kevin Grisey, has mastered it. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. So one of the other ways, well, two other ways that we're a giving ministry is through our annual pledge drive. Thank you very much to all of you who have made pledges. We based our budget on those pledges this year. The Board of Trustees worked hard together to look at the budget, to look at the program that I'm going to tell you about shortly this year. And because of your giving, because of your pledges, we're able to go forth with the program that we feel that we need to go forward with to move our ministry forward. And in the meditation song, we talked about remembering. And so I invite you, those of you that have been here for some time, to remember all the giving that you've done, all that you've given to this ministry, and that you've been a part of all the giving that this ministry has been involved with in all the time that you've been here. And so our annual pledge drive is such a giving part of this ministry. And now I wanted to let you know that we're moving forward with our sponsorship of the African ministerial student, Antonia Enfa Besman, who is located right outside of Laos, Nigeria. And I'm excited because Denise Morrison, the team, has put together a telephone call for the end of this month with our team members and Antonia. And so we're going to get to talk to her, and she's getting ready to start her studies this term. We've taken books for her, purchased books. She's enrolled in classes now, and we'll keep you posted on that. But what a giving ministry to give to a foreign student to be able to give unity principles, truth principles to this part of the world. How giving is that? How wonderful is that? Antonia says, just a little bit about her. Again, she's been a Unity student for over 20 years. She's worked as a center assistant, a Unity center assistant for 5 years when she was a student. She was listening to the teachings and principles, but she never registered for classes for credit. And so she wants to become a credentialed Unity leader in her country to enable her to get in depth to the teachings and principles so that she can help friends and loved ones and all those who she comes in contact with. And also to be a reputable truth student. Well, I love that, to be a reputable truth student. So in remembering that we're a giving ministry, Eric Butterworth says, the difference in being spiritually, economically satisfied is in being a giver or a taker. Takers are people who believe that their lives will always be the total of what they can get from the world. They are always thinking, get. No matter what they take, they never know peace or security or fulfillment. We can watch that on television today, can't we? We can watch it on television today. But givers are convinced that life is a giving process. Subtle motivation in all ways is to give themselves away in love, in service, and in all the helpful ways they can invest themselves. They are always secure. They know their good flows from within. Think about it. You're all givers. Your good flows from within. From within. Your love flows out into the world. The committed giver has a truly giving consciousness. A truly giving consciousness is the creative alternative to the worldly emphasis on winning through intimidation or succeeding through positive selfishness. A committed giver is an incurably happy person, a secure person, a satisfied person, and a prosperous person. When you become a committed giver, you can no more go back to the old way of living than you can go back to life in prehistoric times. It's true. I remember sitting down with my financial planner a couple of years ago, and he looked at the line on tithing that I wrote in, and he said, well, gosh, you'd have so much more liquidity if you cut this tithing in half. And I said, well, no, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather tithe than have all this extra liquidity because it flows from within me. I'm a giver by nature. You're givers by nature. Each of you are. So going down memory lane and remembering that we're a giving ministry, on July 25th, 2021, everybody remember my talk on that day, July 25th, 2021? Who remembers it? John Duffy. And if I know Mrs. Duffy, she has it written down in her notebook. Absolutely. But the title of my talk on that Sunday was Stamina and Sustainability. Now, I don't know if you remember that, but we talked about it because we had just had Martha Creek in to visit the board right before this talk. It was several months right before that. And she said to the Board of Trustees, well, I want to say to you, you have to look at your stability, your sustainability. If I've been saying stability, I mean sustainability, and your stamina. And we listened to her. And so if you remember, we've taken a look at our stamina. We really have. We've looked at our stamina. What can we do as a ministry, the ministry that we are right now, the ministry with about 100, or maybe 80, I think the number is, people that come and go throughout times to hear our services, come and go to our classes, that are donors that we don't even know, that they see our ministry. And so how can we sustain that? And what can we do as a ministry from a stamina perspective with where we are right now? And so let me just say what stamina and stability are again, okay? So stamina is the physical or moral strength to withstand illness, fatigue, hardship. It's about endurance. So what do we as a ministry have the stamina to do so that we don't find hardship, that we're not at church all the time, so that all of us aren't doing the same thing all the time, or it's only a small group of people and that wears you out? What stamina do we have? And so we put together a 1.5-year plan and presented it to the membership. I think it was 2 years ago, because we're coming up on presenting a new one in March. And we looked at what we had the stamina to do. And you know what? We've really developed our stamina. We settled into it. We have in-person events like we had yesterday. We have virtual services every Sunday. We have classes. We have hybrid events. We have book studies. And we seem to be able to manage all that with the current people we have and with the demographics of who we are. And so the Board of Trustees said, well, it's time to look at sustainability. So together we worked, and we had some assistance on the finances from Patricia Wright, and on putting the plan together, and on fundraising from Cam Stauffer. And we put together a plan to be sustainable, to go on, to keep Unity Center of Davis going forward for future generations, to enjoy and know Unity principles, to carry the mission forward. And so what is sustainability then? Sustainability is the balance between the environment, equity, and economy. The most often quoted definition comes from the UN World Commission on Environment and Development. Sustainable development is development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So, are we sustainable environmentally? Yes, we're very sustainable on the virtual environment. We're really not affecting the environment except when we do in-person events. And my goodness, we've had bamboo compostable plates at our last several events with compostable silverware. So, our ministry is sustainable in the environment. We're sustainable financially. We have financial reserves to use. We don't have a problem paying our bills. And we're not compromising future generations that come after us from finding Unity principles and moving the ministry forward. So the Board of Trustees says, well, yes, we have the sustainability to go forward. So let's develop a plan to go forward. Now that we know our stamina, let's move forward and see how sustainable we really are over the next 2 years. Let's put a plan in place to keep us moving forward and to see if this plan moves us through sustainability for 2 years. If it doesn't, why we take a look at it and adjust it and move it. And then if it does, we celebrate and keep moving it in that direction. So last year, or 2 years ago, when I talked about this, I said a couple of these things. It's a very real topic, sustainability and stamina, for our ministry to look at right now. And at that time, we were 18 months into doing virtual services. And now we're just about 3 years. I'll be here 3 years in April. Hard to believe, isn't it? And we went virtual right after I signed my contract with the ministry. So 3 years now, and here we are. We're we're a thriving unity ministry, really. I don't have the exact number of people that are on here, but they come and they go. Sometimes we have more, sometimes we have left. And we have the ministry, we have the finances and the resources to manage our programs. And so here we are again, the Board of Trustees developed a plan then, and we've developed a plan now. And I want to talk about it. So 4 parts of our plan I want to talk about. And the first is to do system upgrades to support our work. So we're looking at procuring a database management software. Right now, in a database management software means that of all the people, we can manage them, their addresses, their phone number, their demographics, who's a chaplain, where they serve, manage the board. You can talk to each other. We can manage email easier. We can be better stewards of our finances because we can manage donors, and we can more cost-effectively and more easily donate electronically and pay electronically. So we're looking at those capabilities this year. We're also looking, and included in that, a new process for collecting data for our newsletter and for doing marketing and what the demographics are that we need to market to. So we've been reviewing the e-news and the website, and what we're going to do going forward is put the website aim the website in a direction for the external world, for those who see us, for those who hear about us, for those who see us on social media, for those who come and want to know more about us. And so the website will be there. It'll talk about us, tell more about us, talk about the teams. It'll house all of the services in the past like it did now. And the e-news will be your go-to, our go-to for internal information. So where you used to go to the events page in the website, there will be one, but I want you to go to the e-news for everything. There'll be a link there for everything. You just have to click on it. You don't have to worry about saving links. So we're trying to make it easy. The e-news will have all the links. You can donate on the e-news, click into Sunday service on the e-news, click into noon meditation on the e-news, click into send me an email in the e-news. It's all right there. And Mary Lindsay is our virtual assistant that's kind of coordinating it all and keeping it flowing and working with me. And she's admin at unityofdavis.org. So we've always had that admin at unityofdavis.org. That used to be Samantha, but now it's Mary Lindsay. And so we're revising the website. Mary's almost got that done. And I'll let you know when it goes live. She'll do an e-blast, and it's really beautiful, and it's much easier to use, and it's much easier to program. And one of the other things under system upgrade, I mentioned electronic donations, and I mentioned electronic payments. So we're going to look at our current process for handling mail, including snail mail donations, and how we pay bills and how we receive donations. So we love to get snail mail checks. That's really fine. And if that's how you prefer to send them, don't stop. But many ways to give electronically. And as soon as the new website goes up, if you use PayPal or any of those other methods, we'll be able to take that and it'll just go electronically and we won't have to make a bank deposit. But when we do, we're going to work on being able to take pictures of the checks and making it from our home. And so looking at upgrading systems, the next thing we wanted to look at is securing our financial future. And I think, securing our financial future is one of the reasons I decided to come to this ministry is because you have secured your financial future with maintaining a reserve, and we want to continue maintaining that reserve. It's healthy for a church to have a good reserve. What I was told was that the goal was to have 2 years of minister's salary in the reserve, and we think we should keep it there. So our plan is to work to keep our reserve, but to use our reserve when necessary. For example, sometimes our gifts, our pledges come in at the end of the year from retirement accounts. And so we have to manage our cash flow, and we have the ability to do that, thank goodness. And that's wonderful. So what we want to do is look at, over the next 2 years, developing implement a financial and donor stewardship plan to create and keep that cash reserve, and to assure financial sustainability of UCOD by increasing attendees that are pledging donors by a minimum of 20% over the next 2 years. Now, 20% sounds like a big number, but really we're looking at increasing pledging donors by 6 to 8 new members, 6 to 8 new pledging donors over the next 2 years. Now, that's a new way of talking here, and we talked about that new way of talking about increasing pledging donors. But you know, we have to look at that, because to be financially sustainable, we have to have cash flow, and we have to keep it in at the level that it's coming or higher, because I don't have to tell you about inflation. You see it in your households. I see it in my whole household. I see it in the price of eggs, and everything just costs more. And so our staff, we have to increase as we go along. So staying where we are, we have to look at increasing. So we don't want to discourage non-pledging donors by any means from coming to church, but at the end of 2 years, we would like to end up with 6 to 8 new pledging donors being a part of the ministry, which means they're active members of the ministry. And so we'll keep you posted as to plans to do that. And you're welcome to talk to the board about ideas that you have about that. And I'm sure at least 1 or 3 of you will bring a new member that will become an ongoing member of Unity Center of Davis. And when they see how much fulfillment they get, they'll become a pledging donor as well. So I'm going to say thank you in advance to each of you on this call, and to each of you that are listening to it after this virtual online service right now, because I'm going to put the service out so that all of our members can hear it, so that they know what we're doing, all of our members and attendees. So bring somebody, introduce them to Unity Center of Davis. Let us say hello to them. Let us bring our spiritual enrichment and our joyful enrichment, and I never remember that when I need to, but to bring our mission statement to them. The third area, and I'm really excited about this, and I'm not going to go on forever this morning. I'm going to talk fast starting now, okay? Is chaplaincy and leadership. Our chaplaincy program is looking, and we've already started a pastoral care team where we can do more wellness visits in skilled nursing facilities, hospitals, and in our members' homes. And so Marcia Chicotto has agreed, coming back from her sabbatical, to take on the lead role in our pastoral care program, our pastoral care team. All of our chaplains are anxious to participate, and I think we're seeing our chaplains take different roles. And with that, the chaplain team is looking to increase by 2 chaplains this year. So if you're interested in being a chaplain at Unity Center of Davis, if you're interested in praying with others, if you're interested in being a part of the Sunday service, if you're interested in praying with others after the service, if you're interested in doing wellness calls, it's just a beautiful ministry, and our chaplain team is just doing so much. And so we say thank you to them. And then the last thing in leadership is to remember that my contract expires in 2024, in April of 2024. And so this ministry really needs to start engaging with me in the later part of this year about whether I'm going to be staying on longer. Do we need to go on a ministerial search? What are we going to do? I'm not giving you any indication that I'm leaving by any means, but it's part of what we need to do in leadership in ministry. And the fact that your minister is currently 72 years old, and today I'm talking well. Who knows what next Sunday might be like? But thank God Russell Highland will be here. So we need to talk about that. We need financial sustainability to support a minister, minister. And so it all plays hand in hand. So I mentioned our chaplains, and we would really like to have 2 more chaplains. If you're interested, there's not a requirement for membership any longer. And so if you're interested, let me know. Joy Duffy and Donna Tweltridge are spearheading. We've moved our in-person engagements to the events team, and they are spearheading the events team. And I can't think of any 2 people better than these 2 people to spearhead the events team. And as you know, Mrs. Duffy has been leading Women in Spirit for years, and we've moved on, to that. And we remember all those great. I'm even thinking about the ones that when I was here that was so wonderful with Phil Pearson and everything. But they're going to be looking at in-person events. And if you would like to serve on that team, either virtually or in person, let Joy or Donna Tweltridge know. Thank you. And I'm 2 more. I'm very excited. David Fleming has agreed to take on leadership of our rekindled Earth Care team. Now, yes, thank you. This is just really exciting. I think I mentioned when I was back at conference, I spent some time with the Earth Care team, and we have Sylvia Hayes, who's a member of that Earth Care team and is a Unity minister, coming to speak on an Earth Care ministry topic in April. And we'll have an Earth Care topic once a quarter as a Sunday service. So David will be reaching out, or if you're interested in being a member of the Earth Care team, contact David. Consciousness, holding the Earth Care consciousness, holding consciousness for our planet in all we do, and to radiate that out into the universe. So thank you. And speaking about radiating out into the universe, I just can't believe how wonderful the men's spiritual prosperity team is. Why, we started off with a wonderful prosperity prayer. Thank you. Was that David Morse? I think that gave the prosperity prayer. You never know what David Morse is going to bring to the group. So men, come to the spiritual prosperity group at 3 o'clock on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. Join us. It's a good time. The psalmist, the Proverbs state that when God gives us understanding, we gain favor with man. Good understanding wins favor. Good understanding wins favor. Good trouble wins favor. God gives us understanding. People will see that we know where we are going and how to get there, and we know the cost as well as the consequences. So through spiritual understanding, we've worked together as a ministry, as a board of trustees, as teams, to come together. And by using understanding, we gain favor. And we gain favor by people seeing that we know where we're going, how we're going to get there, and what the consequences are. Thank you for letting me take time this morning to share our plan with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for that wonderful music, David Trolley. And I'll see you next week. Thank you.